We will now see the differences between an EBS volume and an instance store. Some instances do not come with an EBS volume as root volume. Instead, they come with an instance store that corresponds to ephemeral storage. The instance store is physically attached to the instance, so think of it as a physical hard drive that is in the same computer rack as the server where your instance is located. While the EBS volume is a network drive. Why use the instance store? It has better input and output performance since the link between the instance and its volume is a physical link. This is ideal for buffering, caching, working data, or temporary content. The data is kept when the instance is restarted, which can be interesting in an operating mode. The disadvantages: upon shutdown or termination, the instance store is lost along with any unsaved data from that volume. You cannot resize an instance store. Once you have provisioned, let's say 8 GB of instance store, you can't change that act anymore. It's therefore necessary to plan the use of our ephemeral storage of our instance stores. And indeed, if you want to make a backup of our volume or of the data it contains, we will be obliged to carry out a manual task inside the system, a kind of copy to another type of support that is not ephemeral. Otherwise, the backups are made manually and we could therefore lose our data if we don't make them. What is the benefit of using a local EC2 instance store? We have seen that it's a physical disk that is physically attached to the server where the instance is installed. It therefore guarantees very good performance in terms of input and output because the link between the instance and the instance store is a physical link. The size of this disk can range up to 7.5 TB and can be changed over time up to 30 TB at maximum. This is block storage, such as an EBS volume. Although it's in different arrangement from EBS network drives, well for us in the console it will be seen as a hard disk. The problem is that the instance store cannot be extended in size. And there is a risk of data loss in the event of physical failure, where we have seen that with manual backups we can overcome this problem and create redundancy with this type of volume. Here we have an example of different instances and their possible input and output volumes. If we take a large instance, the X8 large for example, we see here that in reading it is at 1.65 million IOPS and in rating it is at 720,000 IOPS. With this type of volume you can really have a very high performance in terms of disk rating and reading. This is ideal for applications requiring very low input and output latency. Now we are going to go to the console to see how we set this up. For this, we will simulate the launch of an instance. We will choose as usual an Amazon Linux 2, and this is where we can choose an instance with an instance store. Here we have instance stores that are only in EBS, and here we have the choice, so we will take for example this one, the M5 AD large. We will go directly to the storage, and here we see that we have a root volume of an EBS volume in GP2. We will have here a volume ephemeral 0 of 75 gigas. So we know that on this instance we will have our system installed here, and if you want to catch data to work on it, we can store it on this ephemeral 0 disk, which has high performance in terms of input and output. We are not going to create it because it's paid for. This is more or less the principle of the instance store, unlike the EBS volume.